As many of you know, I recently moved into this new house, and although we have the entire thing furnished, we have bare walls everywhere. I'm supposed to be an artist, I'm supposed to be a professional photographer, so this is the beginning of a series where I take professional photos that I will frame and hang throughout my home. Now, I've been lucky enough to travel all over the world to many of the most beautiful locations in the world with Elia Liccardi. In fact, in 2 days, I'm going to Japan to film the next Photographing the World series with him. I've taken incredible photos at all of these locations, but the truth is, I don't really like photography like that hanging on my walls. The pictures are so over the top that it kind of overwhelms the entire room. I want something a little bit more subdued. Now, I live down here in the Caribbean and I've taken tons of pictures of the coastline. Even those are a little over the top for me. But I think I have an idea, at least for this first set of images. I want to take pictures of the coast with my drone. Now, unlike every other genre of photography, which really requires that you go to the location to see if you can find a shot, I can use Google Maps perfectly for this because Google Maps already has taken satellite images of the entire coastline, and so I can just scroll around and find interesting rock formations. For these images, I want them to be straight top-down photographs, and so they're going to look exactly like they are on Google Maps already, obviously with better lighting and better resolution. So I found a spot with incredible rock formations, and I actually went to the location twice. I shot it once with very hard overhead light. It was around midday. And then I went back that evening and I shot with very overcast light, almost no shadows at all. Now, these images look okay, but I think this type of photography really calls for directional side lighting. And because the mountains are blocking one side, the only way for me to get this type of photography is for me to wake up before the sun rises, my most hated thing ever. So that's what I had to do. I couldn't sleep last night. I've been up since 2 a.m. And I was like, I might as well just stay up. I gotta get up early. And now it's raining. And I do not want to ruin my drone for this. I guess I'll still try to drive to the location and hopefully the rain stops. So I've gotten to my launch spot. Sun is starting to come up soon. Problem is, that is all rain. I'm relieved to say that the rain finally dissipated and I got an incredible sunrise and the lighting was perfect. So we've got the sun coming up now. We're getting really nice side light, which is exactly what I wanted. The water is really frustrating here because depending on the wind and the current, it can be really clear and beautiful or totally brown. We're getting a little bit of color and a little bit of clarity, but it's not great right now. This isn't the highest resolution drone on the market. I think it's just 12 megapixels. I plan to print these really large, so I am a little worried that it's not quite enough resolution, but I have printed 12 megapixel images very large years ago when 12 megapixels used to be a lot, and the prints look fantastic. So I'm hoping these will look great no matter how large I actually print them. I got some incredible shots, and when you compare the exact same location shot at 3 different times a day, you can tell how much better it is right at sunrise. To edit these photos, I'm going to be using today's sponsor, which is AC/DC's Photo Studio Ultimate 2023. Maybe you're tired of those monthly Adobe fees and you're looking for another option. AC/DC makes software very similar to other Adobe programs, but at a fraction of the cost and with the ability to buy them outright. I'm going to be using the software Photo Studio Ultimate, which is basically a replacement for both Lightroom and Photoshop baked into one program. You can cull images, you can do global edits, and then you can move over into more hardcore editing with layers and masks. Now, I'm going to spare you of the boring culling section where I had to go through all of these images that I've taken over the last couple of days. These are my favorite images, and I've chosen them specifically because I believe they all match. These 3 prints are going to be together on one wall, and I made sure that the lighting and the color was the same on each one. Because the drone was flying all over the place, I have lighting coming in from tons of different directions, but each one of these pictures has lighting coming from top to bottom, and so I think they look great together. Now, these images don't really call for much retouching, but my very first step was to go through and retouch out anything that I found to be a little bit distracting. Now, I love the color on the rocks and the grass. It looks fantastic. The color of the water itself is okay. It's not great. It's got a little bit of this like yellow brownish tint to it. I really want to try to get rid of that. So what I'm going to do is create a new layer. I'm going to fill that layer with a more pleasing color. I'm then going to set the blending mode of that layer to color. As you can see now, it's going to make everything that color. I'll then create a mask on that layer, and then using a black brush, I can just paint out where I don't want that color to show up. Now, it's very easy to go too far with this type of editing, and you can make it look crazy. I wanna make sure that this looks classy and realistic. So lower that opacity, and then you can go to your color options and you can really fine tune it. And because this is on its own layer, we can individually change the color of the water itself, or we can click on that original layer and change the color of the ground as well. And that's it. Repeat for the other two, and we are done. Now, I'm not going to be printing these photos quite yet. I have a few more to take, so there's gonna be more videos coming in the future. And then finally, I'm going to release a video where I actually print, frame, and hang each of these pictures, and you will get to see the before and after in my house. Stay tuned for that. Once again, big thanks to AC/DC for sponsoring this video. If you wanna check out this software, it is 100% free to try for 2 weeks, no strings attached. Click on the link in the description, try it out for yourself.